Blog Talk Radio.
Here we go with the main event of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen in attendance, boxing fans joining us around the world. It's time for the bout you've all been waiting for. Finally, it is showtime.
Here, man, we dedicate our life to this sport. We do thousands of sit-ups in camp. We run hundreds of miles, for the ones that take it serious. And we just dedicate ourselves fully to our craft, man. We watch tape. We have attitude, we rooting, and we go into that fight and to land on the line.
Hey, what up, boxing fans? This is the Rope-A-Dove Radio Podcast. I am your host, Chris Carlson. We are live on a Tuesday. Yes, it is another West Coast edition. Hope everybody had a good Tuesday. I made a little money where I work at a bar, and I got off a little early, and here we are, ready to do another West Coast edition of the show. Lots to talk about on the Rope-A-Dove Radio Podcast tonight. Obviously, we'll start with some recap. There's not a ton of it, but man, that Fox card really paid off. Well, we'll mention the results from ESPN Plus and whatnot, but that Kownacki-Arreola brawl, the record-setting heavyweight CompuBox stat line was pretty freaking ridiculous, if I don't say so myself, and I do. It was a hell of a fight. Neither guy hit the canvas somehow, some way. Wow. And it actually had a good peak number, too. It had a good peak number. In fact, as it turns out, it was the number one top sporting event on Saturday. So that's pretty cool. There were a couple of items that went over it as far as average, but as far as the peak number, so that's pretty good. I wish boxing, whether it was Fox or ESPN, could do that a couple times a summer. You know what I mean? That would be nice because UFC has found a way to make it work in the summer. So this was a positive. Obviously, on the undercard, we had a major upset, two of them actually, but a major one in Pascal. Jean Pacal upsetting undefeated Marcus Browne. Crazy fight, back and forth fight. Browne, he win 5 or 6 out of the 8 rounds? But in the 2 rounds he didn't win, Pascal scored 3 knockdowns. I was just talking about how I want to see I understand why Pascal was still fighting, right? We went over that because he just went 12 rounds with Biffle, who some people think he's the best light heavyweight. So obviously he still deserves to be fighting off that. And he upset that unbeaten prospect a while back. So kudos to you, though, Pascal. Wow. I was pretty surprised there. So like I said, we'll go over some of the other fights from the weekend. We'll also take a look at the weekend. August is pretty light. Late August picks up, no doubt about it. But right now, the next couple of weeks, not a whole lot to sink your teeth in. But Vergil Ortiz Jr., who's going for his 13th in a row knockout? I think he's 12-0 with 12 KOs. I can't remember. Maybe it's 13. But either way, he takes on Antonio Orozco. And that's a good fight. That's a really, really big step-up fight. Orozco last year went to war with Ramirez. Remember that? They both just went in. I was actually trying to find that just to watch it again last night, and it's nowhere to be found on the on YouTube, and it's nowhere to be found on ESPN Plus, which is kind of sucks. I'm sure it's out there on Daily Motion. Now that I think about it, I should have done that. I checked a couple different places. I was going to watch it last night, but it is what it is. That's a great step up fight. Also, the co-feature for Golden Boy and DAZN will be a trilogy, Negrete against Franco. And, that's interesting. we'll get into that. But that's a pretty good card. I think that Orozco is a giant step up for Ortiz Jr. So that's, we're going to really get a look at him. That's for sure. No doubt about it. Now, obviously, the news has been going crazy since the last time we spoke. Canelo was stripped last time we talked. We knew that was coming. But now Canelo and Golden Boy and DAZN, it's like Canelo versus Golden Boy versus DAZN. And, oh, by the way, Golovkin versus DAZN as well. Everybody's lawyering up, okay? I'm going to give you a little bit more details on this scenario. I guess they did talk a little bit, Canelo and a member of his team. They just recently spoke with Golden Boy. They're not on great terms, let's put it that way. A lot of it has to do with the Golovkin fight not happening in September. There's a whole lot to talk about. As I'm choking. Okay, sorry. I had to take a sip of water there. I don't know what happened. But anyway, as of last week, we knew the IBF was going to strip Canelo. But it's just deeper. It's deeper than that. We have some issues. The Ali Act. The Ali Act may be brought in there. We'll look at it. Okay, we'll break it all down. Tyson Fury has a fight signed, and yeah, it's as bad as you would have thought. The WBO with Bob Only calls for two separate fights. One involving Shakur Stevenson, now that Oscar Valdez has gone up to 130 and vacated his WBO featherweight belt. And the other one has to do with Jose Ramirez coming off that great victory, knockout over Mauricio Hooker last week. Clarissa Shields has a fight scheduled now. She was supposed to go here not this weekend, but next weekend on Showtime. It got pushed back. Sounds like she's got a new date. There's a new date penciled in for the rematch between J-Rock, Julian Williams, and Jared Hurd. So I'm really, interested to see that. Billy Joe Saunders and Frank Warren have a mutual split. We'll give you some details there. There's a variety of other out of the ring stuff to talk about, dealing with Kovalev and Carlos Baldomir. Really not great news there. There's a variety of other stuff that we'll get to as well. But we'll obviously start with recap. We'll get into this Canelo stuff with Golovkin, with Oscar, with Golden Boy. Sounds like the shit's hitting the fan. Sounds like potentially the Ali Act may have been broken here. Well, but it's tough to say because usually it's there to protect a fighter. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Canelo, like I said, not on great terms to say the least. Everybody's lawyering up. Not on great terms with Golden Boy. I guess you could say not on great terms with the zone at the moment. So, yeah, we'll get into it. We'll chop it all the way up. Before we do that, hey, if this is your first time listening to the Rope-A-Dope Radio podcast, it streams live right here on blogtalkradio.com/Rope-A-Dope Radio. So it streams live. It archives. It's basically the headquarters. However, if you listen to podcasts in other places, you can find the Rope-A-Dope Radio podcast there on iTunes, Player FM, Stitcher, Spreaker, really all over the place. You can use Siri and Alexa to go to TuneIn or Spotify. You can find us on Spotify in general. I'm also part of the Grueling Truth Sports Podcast Network, which can be found on iTunes and Spotify, all over the place, including iHeartRadio, by the way. Head on over to gruelingtruth.net. That's the Grueling BoxingTruth.net. It's boxing, it's football, it's basketball, it's baseball, it's hockey, it's everything in between. I mean, they're doing CFL right now, so Canadian Football League. So that tells you how hardcore it is. As far as the Rope It Up Radio podcast, it centers around boxing. However, we do some football and basketball throughout the year. One quick note, you should check out DirecTV Now, which is about to turn into AT&T Now. They still have a free trial for 7 days. No annual contract. Stream it anywhere. Plans start as low as $50. In fact, right now, if you sign up, you can try 2 months for $35 at a discounted race, a discounted pace. What am I trying to say? Discounted race, discounted pace, discounted price. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So yeah, check that out. DirecTV Now / AT&T Now. It's about to go there. Okay. So yeah, we'll start with the slobber knocker that was the heavyweight fight on Fox last Saturday. Like I said, if you do the numbers, especially with the peak number, in the peak of the main event, in the main event average, which was like 1.7 something, it peaked at, pretty damn good, 1.76, and that's just straight up Fox. It peaked well over 1.8, getting close to 1.9 if you include Fox Deportes, because I think there was like an extra 90,000 people on Fox Deportes in the stream and whatnot on the app. Usually there's only like 5,000 or 10,000 people streaming it on the app, but on Saturday it was the biggest sporting event as far as ratings, so that's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. It was a great fight, no doubt about it. The whole overall combined card averaged 1.3 something. So that, that's a good look. Obviously, we're in the summer. Like I said, the UFC has been able to take advantage of the summer at times, and so it's nice. I'd like to see boxing, whether it's Fox or ESPN, like I said, do this a couple times a summer, not just once a summer. You know what I mean? That would be nice. But yeah, 1.76, and if you look at the the prime time hours, not the World News and not Saturday Night Live, but that 3-hour slot there, it basically either was second or tied for second with the demo. I think the NBC, a couple shows on NBC beat it. I think it was Dateline, actually, as far as the demo. But it did pretty good in the demo, especially the main event. It definitely finished like second with that main event all alone that last hour with the demo. So that's a pretty good look. Anyway, the fight itself, oh my goodness gracious, these dudes, we knew they were going to get it in. We knew they were going to just brawl, obviously. But man, oh man, right from the jump, it was on. And I even wrote this, Kownacki just walking Arreola down basically from Jump Street. And when you look at it, 90 seconds in, they had already landed a combined 42 shots, 21-21. They ended up 38-33, Kownacki, just in the first freaking round. These dudes were just going at it. The first three, I thought mostly Kownacki was winning. Very tight fight, though, obviously. He was working the body in the head, just a slugfest. Arreola making it a two-way fight, firing back. The uppercut for both fighters was big. I'd say right around the fourth round or so. Look at after three, 107-89. That was the punches landed in favor of Kownacki after three freaking rounds, dude. Unbelievable. You could have given Arreola the fourth. I'd say that's fair. There were a handful of others. I did see some people with the it's close to a draw 7-5 cards. I saw that online. I didn't agree with that personally. I thought it was a clear 8-4 at least, probably 9-3 to be honest with you. That's right where my scorecard was. Arreola, definitely finished strong and had his moments in the fight. And there's times where you start to go, well, I wonder if they're going to slow down. In the sixth, you could see they were the slowest round, but still had like great moments in spots. But the jab, the right hand, the body work by both guys. Arreola looked like he was hurt to the body in the ninth, but of course he found a way to to flurry back. It did look for just a moment that you could see that Kownacki looked like he was trying to find his second win, looking at the clock and everything like that in the ninth, but he popped right back into it and actually hurt Arreola in the 10th. So this thing was just a brawl, to say the least. If you look at the punch stats, it set a record for heavyweight CompuBox. I think it was Tua and who was it? Was it Ike or no? Yeah. Well, I know Tua has like 2 or 3 different CompuBox fight records, but a combined punches thrown, that was the most combined punches thrown, well over 2,200. Arreola threw 1,125. That's the most from a heavyweight ever, and I think it was 5th or 4th place, something like that. 1,047 by Kownacki. So a combination together, they set the record. Individually, just throwing punches, they were 1-4 or 1-5 all time. And then I think the combined landed was a record too, 369 to 298. Oh my goodness gracious! These dudes got it in, and what was there, over 8,700 on the way to 8,800? I think, if I remember correctly, as far as the attendance. So the Polish people came out. That was really cool. Usually they don't necessarily do those national anthems when they do ESPN or Fox. They don't really normally do that. Maybe they were doing it because they knew it'd be kind of cool, like a scene to set right before the fight started, or maybe they were buying some time. I really don't know. That first fight went really quick, and then the second fight didn't finish, it did finish early. So I don't know if they're buying time, but either way, first of all, the Polish anthem, national anthem, is pretty damn long, but that was freaking fun to watch the crowd singing along. It really just gave you that good vibe. And we know the Polish people come out, Tomasz Adamek, people in the past, Spilka, they came out for Spilka in Chicago majorly. Remember that outdoor stadium fight on ESPN? The Polish people represent, dude. The Prudential Center was obviously really, really a big deal for Tomasz Adamek several years back. But man, they really bring it out. And now, now that he got his first headlining, Kownacki, I mean, talk about word of mouth. These mother effers throw, 2,000 plus, combined punches. That word of mouth's going to spread. So 8,000 he'll get every time out now. And even when he loses, he's still going to be able to be a main event, as long as he doesn't maybe lose just easy, like first round knockout or something like that. Maybe then they'd calm down on him. But anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000, I think you can just give to Kownacki at this point at the Barclays. So it's nice to have a ticket seller, and you got one right there. He says he wants about 2 or 3 more fights. I think they said 2 more fights, and then we want to run at Wilder. And, I think it's good for him to get a couple more fights in. Yeah, I think that's pretty damn good. Maybe Charles Martin. Oh, wait, he already fought him. What am I saying? That was actually a pretty damn good fight. Kind of put Charles Martin back on the map as a fringe contender. That's right. Probably him and Gerald Washington will fight. Maybe I'm wrong, though. We'll see. But a great performance by both guys. Arreola, it just goes to show. Of course, he's past his prime. We know that. That's old news. But when you turn up in the best shape you've turned up in well over a decade, right? Because I was thinking about it. September 2009 was that Klitschko fight. which he was heavy for. So that was the best shape he's been in well over a decade. So yeah, it actually looks like he's just barely out of his prime rather than all the way out of his prime. And if he's able to stay in shape like this and maybe even get in better shape, if he fights a year or two more, I can't sit there and tell him not to do it, to be honest with you. You didn't know exactly what Arreola we're going to get. We hear a lot of, if I don't win, I'm retiring. We hear that, but you just don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. That mentality can really be great, right? But it also can be like, well, that means you're ready to quit then, probably. In your head, if you're teeter-tottering with the retirement and in boxing, you take those shots, it starts to catch up with you, and you're like, you know what, I'm good. I don't need this. I don't want this. I don't need this. So kudos to Arreola. Hey, man, if that's your last fight, you went out on your freaking shield, and you kept bringing it back, dude. It did seem like every time Arreola landed huge shots, though, you could see Kownacki would make sure to catch him right back. You know what I mean? But yeah, I had it about 9-3, maybe 8-4, something like that. There were some tight rounds, but overall, a clean win. Kownacki moves on, and he is what he is. I've never really thought, this guy could be champ. Not necessarily. I mean, he could catch someone, right? But I think he's just a fun, all-action fighter. He's obviously a guy that's going to be able to move some tickets, and I think it's just a perfect stay busy, or if he were to get into mandatory position, I think that's perfect for a Wilder fight. Yeah, I really do. And imagine the Barclays. I mean, we saw Spilka and the Polish people came out, a couple years back. What was that? 2016, I think, early in the year 2016. But just imagine now. I mean, this dude's undefeated. He's been moved at the Barclays. That was, his 9th fight there in the last 11? Wow, man. That's going to be fun. And so, yeah, kudos to both those guys. Like I said, the peak number, well over 1.8 if you include Fox Deportes, but 1.76 was the peak. So that's a good look. I mean, a lot of casuals ran into it and we're like, what the hell? Just a nice old, slobber knocker. So yeah, that was good. That was very good. On the undercard, Wale Omatoso and Curtis Stevens. Now, this thing was at 154 and not 160. It was listed at two different sites at 160. And I remember talking about this going, I don't mind the fight. I like the fight. But if it's at 160, I'm not really a huge fan of the Omatoso at 160. But when I found out Curtis Stevens came down to 154, then I was like, okay, I'm intrigued now. This might be a really good fight. However, you just don't know if coming down this late in the game for Stevens. Both of them are, have been through some wars, but Stevens especially. And both of them have taken plenty of losses or whatever, but Stevens at this time of your career to drop down to 54 from 160, didn't he fight at over 160 as well? I'm almost positive. When I heard that, I thought, okay, well, Omatoso's got a chance to win this, but then once you see the fight play out, Curtis Stevens, maybe it was the that weight as well, like the extra part of that, not the extra weight, because he wouldn't have extra weight. But thinning down to 54 and you're old, the punch resistance just wasn't there. It wasn't there. The jab and movement by Omatoso looked pretty damn good early. He landed like a jab and a right hand that was kind of on the back of the head, maybe side back at it wasn't on all the way back, but it was at least on the side of the head or the back of the head for the knockdown. Hard right hands and movement in the second round. There was, I think it was a jab and a left timed it perfectly, knocked him down. Oh, no, it wasn't a jab. It wasn't a jab and a left. What am I saying? it was a left hand. It was a jab. He just stuck it out and timed him, caught him right on the butt. He fell down. And then early exchanges, Stevens actually landed a pretty damn good shot. A few hard hooks. I think it was the right hand, if I remember correctly. And then there was, that didn't last long because I think it was a left uppercut and a super flush right hand. Knocked him down, TKO. It was over before it started. He just dominated him, dude. Just dominated him. Just destroyed him, dude. I was pretty surprised at that outcome. Wasn't a big fan, like I said, when I first saw the fight listed at middleweight, but then I got intrigued, and then you're like, oh, you know what? It's a mismatch on the other side because of the weight, and Stevens probably needs to hang him up. Maybe at 160 he'll show a little bit more. I don't know, but big win for Omatoso, though. Good for you, dude. There's plenty of guys he could face at 154 with the PBC, so we'll see where that takes him. And then we come to Marcus Browne versus Jean Pacal. It's one of those fights that you think, okay, I guess we're going to have Pascal. Oh, shoot. I guess people are pressing. Okay, so the switchboard just dropped. I'm going to refresh it. Yeah, I don't see it. It looks like a lot of people got knocked out because I don't see. All right, you guys can call back now. Yeah, something went wrong there. I'm not really sure exactly what happened, but it's once in a while. Sometimes it just knocks you off or won't let you go through or something like that. But I think we're good to go. Now. But yeah, the Jean Pacal upset, man. First of all, Marcus Browne has already said he's going to exercise his rematch clause, which I think is legit. Because when you look at this fight, it's a tale of, two rounds. 2 rounds and a headbutt. And they say accidental headbutt. I got news for you. That shit wasn't accidental. And look at Pascal. Look at how he came in there, dude. And he was all swollen up. You see his eye? The top of his eye and like forehead-ish was fucked up, dude. It was swollen. Dude. It was ouch. But heading into this fight, like I said, I understood why Pascal was still fighting. I totally got it. But then again, dude, I'm just worried about him. That's all it is. I'm not, hey, man, get your money. I'm not here to count your frickin' pockets. But, dude, I'm a little worried because this guy can take a shot. This guy can frickin' take a shot, and he'll keep going. He'll be weeble-wobbled horribly and be like, dude, I'm good. What are you stopping the fight for? Those Kovalev fights, that second Kovalev fight, first of all, the second Kovalev fight we didn't need, right? We didn't need it. But he's fought since then plenty of times, too. And once he upset that prospect, I thought, oh, shit, we're going to get a couple more years out of him. And then he goes the distance with this killer, Bivol. That's what everybody's calling him. Previous was a killer. Pascal did it, dude. He found a way to do it. It's really impressive. I'm very impressed by him. I was just surprised how it all played out. Now, we have seen, to be fair, I wasn't completely shocked, I guess, but I was pretty damn surprised, dude. It's been a while since Marcus Browne put up a so-so throwaway performance. In fact, his last one against Badu, that Badu Jack back in January, was damn good, dude. It was a damn good performance. So, to me, it's like, wow, okay. remember years ago, it was 2016. He was on the undercard. Or wait, yeah, I think it was 2016. It was Spence in Algeria, and I think Golovkin and Cunningham fought. I think they opened it up. That was a good ass fight right there. But Hot Rod was the guy's name. He actually just got beat by Kovalev, right? Or no, not Kovalev. Better be it. And he got knocked out of that fight. Some people thought he may should have lost the fight. He's had some other inconsistent performances, but man, I mean, he looked damn good for most of the fight. I mean, when you're looking at it, the first 3 rounds, I gave him clearly to Marcus Browne. He was busier. He was landing a jab really well. He was kind of landing a wide hook as well. It did look like a left hand in the 3rd round buzzed Pascal. It kind of made him squat a little bit. Pascal was able to land some counter shots. That's his thing. He loves to work like 30 seconds, 45 seconds of a round. We know that. And he loves the counter and just land big shots. He's not a guy that's going to be overly busy as Pascal. But man, the one thing you could tell though, the fight, like during the clinch, it was starting to get dirty. And that's why I said accidental headbutt my ass. That wasn't accidental. Because in the 2nd round, I believe it was the 2nd round, you saw Pascal scraping his head like a veteran. I'm not ripping him, shit happens. That's boxing. But he was scraping his head all up on Browne. He's trying to, open up a cut and just frustrate him, basically. And, I mean, I don't know, dude. This was a damn good fight. This was a good fight, though, because it was so like, oh, my God, that happened because, like I said, first 3 rounds, no problems. In fact, I believe Pascal got hurt in the 3rd round. Browne was in cruise control. Then Pascal, with the beautifully timed counter right hand, knocked him down, right? And he got up. Thing is, Browne got up too quick on all these, dude. He got up way too quick on all this stuff. It's like, dude, stay down for a half a second, take a moment, stay down, And you can see he was a little wobbly from that, but he got up. And kudos to him because, like I said, rounds 5, 6, he won. He was right back on it. He bounced back. He was going to the body. He was looking good, dude. He was looking very good. Then the 7th round came around. And not 1, but 2 knockdowns. Another counter right landed right on the button, right on the chin. And then I believe it was a left hand that knocked him down for the 2nd one. So all of a sudden you're like 10-7 round. Holy shit, what's going on? And, I felt that Browne was winning that 8th round. I haven't went back in, the round they stopped it in because then there was a headbutt. And that headbutt popped that. It was right on the eyelid. And when it's in the eyelid and it's big already, it's probably going to get stopped. And especially now, you know what I mean, even more with these deaths and stuff. I mean, I can't, I understand. You know what I mean? I get it. But that point, I mean, it came down to 75-74, all 3, and Pascal got the freaking win. I was pretty damn shocked. Not, the knockdowns do catch you up and whatnot. So you're winning, 5-2? Well, I guess 6-2. And then there's 3 points in there. So did you have it about a draw? Did you have it a little bit in favor? Was it 1 point like that? Either way, it sounds like there's going to be a rematch. And I'm looking forward to that rematch. I knew he would get – when I started seeing the fight get rough early in the fight, I thought, you know what? This is actually going to be a good fight for Browne because he needs a hardened vet that's going to land hard punches and that you have to knock out or the ref's going to have to stop it. Because Pascal just doesn't know. He's got a good-ass chin, and he gets hurt a lot now, in fights, but he kind of always did. Remember, Hopkins hurt him a couple times. Dawson hurt him late in that fight, but, talk about proving us wrong. People are wondering why this fight was even happening, and I knew why it was happening. And I did think still a young fighter that's, where he's at in his career in Marcus Browne, it still was going to give him something. That's what I thought. Like, all right, dude, like, he's still a hardened vet, but, man, I never would have thought that it would have produced that much freaking action, man. Well, not just action, but, the results with the 3 knockdowns. And so that's pretty cool. It does sound like I said, Marcus Browne is going to exercise his rematch clause. So obviously they got to have a little time to let that, eye heal, and then we'll take it from there. But I'm really looking forward to that rematch now, man. Also, Fowler and Rose fought. Fowler, this is the UK fights. He had actually coming off his first loss to Fitzgerald. So Fowler came back, beat Brian Rose, looked pretty good. Michael Conlon won, what was it, the 8th or 9th round? I think it was the 9th round. 8th round, 9th round, something like that. I don't think it was the last round. But Conlon landed a body shot, dropped him, and then a couple more body shots, and it was over. TKO. Conlon scores a nice win, nice victory for him. And like I said, Fowler bounces back as well. I see people are now able to come back on the switchboard, and I do see Carcino. So I'm going to go to Carcino here in just a second. We will talk about this whole Canelo, Golden Boy, DAZN, Golovkin DAZN. Everybody's lawyering up, and it's going to be interesting to see how this thing shakes out. Tyson Fury has an opponent. Yeah, it's as bad as we thought. My goodness gracious. The WBO calls a couple of fights. Is there going to be an all-E act challenge when it comes to that Canelo, Golden Boy, Golovkin stuff? Because there could be. Because, in the all-E act, it states that you can't promise future fights on contract. You can verbally say stuff. You can say, hey, man, we promise, handshake and a smile. But you can't put it in paper. Remember back in the day, the Timberwolves, my Minnesota Timberwolves, they signed this crazy, weird-ass contract with Joe Smith under the table, basically saying, hey, dog, you sign this, we'll sign you big in the future. Just a bunch of stuff. We lost 5 picks from that. I think it turned out to be 3 picks. But anyway, I digress. There is some other news. We will get to Vergil Ortiz versus Antonio Orozco. So there's plenty to talk about, no doubt about it. And by the way, Williams and Hurd 2, the rematch, is penciled in for December. I'll give you a little bit of detail on that in just a moment. Let's bring in Carcino from Carcino for Life, the boxing socialist as well. What's going on, man? How the hell are you, Carcino?
Hey, what's going on? I'm on the radio show now with Chris. What's going on, Chris?
What's up, man?
Yeah, so I'm hanging out at my favorite bar. Yep, I'm at Richards. So if anybody there want to come hang out, come to Richards Beer and Chicken and Round Lake Heights, Illinois.
That sounds pretty good to me. I'll be over in just a second.
He said that sounds great to me. I'll be over in a second. You're in Minnesota. Now, if you can get here that fast. Yeah,
So what's going on, man?
Everything's the same. Nothing's been up. I've been watching. Finally, it's just like the Tim Bradley curse happened to me. I've gotten the entire thing wrong once again with Marcus Browne. I knew this was going to happen. I'm like, this guy is exactly what I thought he was. And I said, it's only a matter of time. And I can never get it right with him, though. I got everything right. They're like, I agree with everything you said, but I'm like,
Right.
I cannot pick his fight right. And sure enough, I said, well, Pascal, they put him in there because, it should be a good knockout win for him. Pascal will be staggering and, punch drunk. And then they'll win. He should be able to win. But I knew this was capable of happening. Pascal always was very good against southpaws because he loves to shoot his right hand. He telegraphed it. But for here, Marcus Browne, he's the person that he's so aggressive. Is that as a southpaw, being slick is a good key to being a good southpaw. And when you telegraph your shot and you're coming from so wide out, I'm like, I saw that left coming a mile away. It was like textbook. Jab, here come the left. And he's bringing it from like way too far out. He's way too far out, and he's on a straight line. And I'm just watching Pascal. He's just looking right at him. He's waiting on him to throw the left so he can counter with the right. And Pascal is not even that kind of fighter. And he straight countered him with that right as soon as he could. He did it so many times in the fight. It was crazy. I was just like, I can't believe it. He's going to do this again? He did it again. Boom. Put him right on the ground. And then I'm like, I knew this was going to happen with Marcus Browne. Remember that guy from Lou DiBella's stable that beat him?
Hot Rod. He
knocked him
down.
I was so upset.
Yep.
And they did not do that rematch. I was so upset because I knew when they ran from that fight, I knew then what Marcus Browne was. And I said, I knew it. I saw this happen in the amateurs. I saw this happen in the gym, sparring. This guy was getting taken to school. And, CBC, that's why I call them the pacified baby champions. That is exactly what happens. They will pacify these guys and prop them up to be the greatest things ever. And they never get there. They just do. And all of these great things they say about them, and these guys are like prima donnas now. They think they after 2 fights, I want $1.5 million. I want $30 million. Or I'm not doing it. I got to fight in my cousin's hometown. That's where I used to stay. I want a big marketing thing. I want lights flashing in the sky. They want all of these things, and they haven't proven anything yet. I'm like, beat a couple of guys in your division. Not a couple of guys that they're handing you. And you guys are getting handed and being treated by these guys who are just coming up in the ranks. Or guys who are like gatekeepers.
Badu Jack was a good win, though. You got to give him that. Badu Jack was a pretty good win.
I gave him credit for Badu Jack because at the time, that was a very good fight for him. Badu Jack fought a terrible fight. And he had trouble in that fight anyway with his camp and everything else, but that's beside the point. Badu Jack definitely was the biggest fight because I was 100% against Browne in that fight. Like I say, I cannot pick his fights right, but I was exactly right about him. He looked really good in that fight. And then in this fight, I finally pick him. And what do you know? He goes down. I was like, well, there it is. And then what angers me about this situation, Chris, is the fact after all of the knockdowns, 3 knockdowns in the fight, you turn around, you go to the scorecards, and we got 75-74. I'm like, what? After 8 rounds, they go to the scorecards, and he's only winning by 1 point with 3 knockdowns in a fight. Are you kidding me? This is a problem.
How many rounds did you give him? How many rounds did you give Pascal? Because I had it 5-3, 6-2 for Browne.
You had it what?
I had it about 5-3 for Browne. I thought he was winning most of the rounds, Marcus Browne.
Oh, no. Okay, well, you must want to count the knockdown.
No. I'm saying
so
the round. I'm saying the round.
Oh, you're just throwing the rounds. Well, yeah. If you scored the rounds like
that's
that,
then
if you're doing that, but you're looking at 1 knockdown, and then you got another round where there's at least 10-7. How in the world? You must have given every round to Brown. You must have Pascal never won a round in the fight, which I disagreed with. I thought he did win a round or two in the fight. That wasn't a knockdown round.
Right, okay, yeah.
I remember
You're saying
Pascal
so you won it. Right.
He got rocked in the round, but I think that's the same. Wasn't that the same round he got the knockdown in? Or he got it in the next round?
No, that was the third round. Yeah, you're right. No, that was the next round.
Yeah, okay. So the next round he got the knockdown. And then the fight turned from there. And then he was on course to lose. He was going to lose that fight badly. So I think it played out that way. I just thought that scorecard wasn't right for 3 knockdowns. You lost 3 points already in this fight. And to say 74-75, I mean, if they do a rematch, of course, he should beat Pascal. But then Pascal might knock him out again because of the way he fights. He fights too long. He fights too way out. He telegraphs the shots. He fights the right guy. He's going to get hurt.
Yeah, those overhand right counters.
Pascal is a loopy. He's a loopy, right-hand happy, swinging person. That is his scouting report. So how in the world, you being a southpaw, like they say he's undefeated against southpaws, I'm like, yeah, no kidding. Because if you trying to land your big left and you're telegraphing it, you're right in the kill zone. All you're doing is putting yourself right in the kill box. So as soon as he did was come over there, swing. And as soon as he swung, there it was. Boom. Right on the dot. Put him down. And I was like, yep. And I saw it coming. I knew he was going to get hit. Then once he got hurt the first time, I was like, yep, this is going to be all fight. He's going to be flopping all over the place.
Yeah, I used to mess up. Arislandi Lara is a guy, for whatever reason, I had a problem picking in his fight, like you were saying with Marcus Browne. And it's just funny how that works sometimes. It's just funny how that works. Because I always thought a little bit something with Marcus Browne, too, but I just couldn't find what fight it would be. I'm right with you. I thought Badu would beat him and stuff, but, yeah, man. So how do you think this rematch is going to go? Very similar, but maybe Pascal wins more rounds?
I think Brown wins the rematch. I think he boxes a little bit more. He only punches when he's not on the angle. He might get buzzed. He'll get hit every now and then, but I think he might hurt Pascal enough to get Pascal out of there. And he won't take as many risks as he did in the first fight. I think him wobbling Pascal in the third round gave him a false sense of security. It was okay to just be reckless, and he paid for it. So I think this time around he's going to just stay. He's kind of what he did in the first 2 rounds. It's a shame. It's going to take some time because that cut he had was nasty. So I think he needs to focus on getting that taken care of. Yeah,
it's a bad spot.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, Pascal's going to have a hematoma, but he'll be all right. But that cut, man, that's a nasty spot. He needs to take the proper time to let it heal because that's only going to open back up. Then you look at the situation you got with you had the situation that I saw with Ruiz and Joshua. The location. Where have we gone? I'm like, are they both in the real estate business? I know Al Heyman is, but my goodness.
Right?
We got to fight in Mexico. We got to fight here. Man, I remember when Floyd Mayweather, people complained because he knocked Ricky Hatton out in 8 rounds in the United States of America. He wouldn't fight him in the UK, so that fight didn't count. Why didn't he fight him at the right, proper weight? All right, what are you talking about? Ricky Hatton, why didn't he fight him at 140 in England? See, in England, they would have did this and did that. I'm like, so you want them to cheat and let the fight just be a fight where you brawl. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to, like, get away from this. And I'm like, when does this ever happen? But once I get on the radio, then here comes a vacuum. I'm like, what is this? As soon as we go on the air, this happens here. Yeah, the owners here is really cool. But, yeah, Ruiz, man, I'm telling you, this whole situation stinks to high heaven, Chris. I don't like his approach now to the fight. Because now what he's supposed to be doing, Chris, is he's going into training. After this, after this week, he's going to starting his diet and his condition, getting back in the gym. He hasn't really been in the gym, Chris, since he won.
Yeah, you're right.
He's been doing this
He's
tour,
been buying stuff and on
around,
a tour, yep.
Yeah, buying houses, doing all these interviews, people following him everywhere. He hasn't really been in the gym. And the hunger don't seem like it's there right now, you know?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes in his focus and everything like that, because he needs to definitely get that straightened out quickly.
Exactly. Because that's why he said the next 2 weeks he's going to start going, getting himself into the gym, getting himself trained and, getting the blood back boiling so he can get back in fight mode. Because he's doing all this. This can be like a Lennox Lewis Rockman situation. If he's not careful, he'll be knocked out in 2 rounds. If he's not, and then all that stuff he did, the house, everything, is not going to mean anything after that happens. They're going to continue on with business. So now they're looking at where to have the fight. If they had the fight in Mexico, they will do big numbers, but a lot of people here ain't going to want to go there. They'll want the fight to be somewhere near Vegas where people in the casino can go and bet on the fight. It would make more sense to do it that way. That's just my opinion. You got people celebrities that want to come to the fight. I don't think they all want to park up there. I don't think they all want to park up at, Mexico somewhere in Tijuana. Right. I love your movie. Like, thank you. So, I mean, if someone's going to rob Chavez Sr., what do you think they're going to do to everybody else? No, I'm scared. Remember, Chavez Sr. got robbed, and that's messed up. They're going to rob him. Yeah. Shit, who knows? So what do you think about this whole Canelo Golovkin DAZN Golden Boy thing? We're finding out now Oscar De La Hoya, supposedly in order to have Canelo signed to DAZN and get his big money for Golden Boy, which is 5 years, $90 million they gave him. That's $18 million a year for Golden Boy, Garcino. Supposedly Oscar put in writing that the fight's going to happen with Canelo and Golovkin this September. That's crazy because that breaks the Ali Act. You can't promise future fights in writing on a contract. This shit is just getting out of hand, and it looks like everybody's kind of lawyering up all of a sudden. Because Golovkin's trying to figure it out too. Well, see, that's the thing. Canelo put a lot of trust in the Golden Boy and his managerial team, and they were looking at dollars instead of the fine print. And that's always going to happen when you're dealing with another company such as DAZN and what they actually are hoping to get. And when certain numbers are not being met or standards and they're paying out all this money, naturally the whole, everybody's mind is going to say, why are we paying this amount of money and we're not getting this back in return? Now they start turning over options and things that were in the original contract, and they got to go do it by verbiage. And we've seen that happen with Amir Khan, why he didn't get his money over there in India, and he was Dubai. This is real money here. Now we seem different. Now he knows better. He didn't read the fine print.
saying that if you don't do X, Y, and Z, the money you're going to get is this much, and if we're not making any, how are we going to pay you? So the situation with Canelo is he has no control. And because he went through that whole contract dispute with his old promoters, he's basically, controlled by Golden Boy now. They took care of everything for him. And all of that stuff had to get taken care of with his old promoter who got millions out of that deal. So now Golden Boy's like, well, we owe you, Canelo. You getting paid all this money. You shouldn't have any complaints. Now they don't want to do the Golovkin fight without a negotiation, but Oscar don't realize he probably didn't even know that what he did in the first place, that he signed on for a fight with Triple G, because that's the fight that's all on. That's the reason why they brought Triple G over. They're not going to draw flies with him fighting anybody else. So it's like, look, we brought you here because we know that you can, we can build this fight up. And if we get one Golovkin fight, that's going to do colossal for the zone, which is mostly an international company. So having the right dance partner is important for them. Triple G's not going to make that money with no one else but Canelo. So they're thinking by September that, that this would happen, and now it doesn't look like it's happening at all in September. They're like, hey, what's going on here? We paid a bunch of money to get this thing going. Like, what's the problem? And now you're having a standoff where they thought that this wouldn't even be the case. So one problem leads to another problem, to another problem, to another problem. But what's going to get resolved is a lot of clarity on contracts. Because now Canelo's going to be much more aware about the proceedings on how much he's owed, how much he's getting, how much money he's paying Golden Boy, and how much control that he actually has over his boxing career and, opponents. But I understand what they're saying. Canelo and them and their concerns are, this fight does nothing for them. As far as building the fight back up, this fight means nothing for them. This is just basically for the zone. The third fight means nothing. Triple G did nothing after taking a year off to prove that he's done anything to improve or get better to make the fight more interesting. Nothing. So it's like, how are we going to sell this on pay-per-view when the fight has basically lost a lot of luster? I mean, we're not going to get the same thing we got for it before. And Canelo's got out everything there is. So I understand their approach. I mean, I would like to see David Lemieux try to come down to 68 and fight Canelo. Let's see that fight. Let's see some other bouts here. There's a lot of other bouts that could be made that's not being made, and I don't know why. It's confusing to me. But I expect this out of Golden Boy. And
yeah, dude, I mean...
the times have definitely changed. Because you're looking at the thing now with Ryan Garcia, who I can't stand. He's another one of these overprivileged, young, and I got 1 million followers on Facebook type of fighters. I know the Jonas Brothers. It's like, okay, yeah, we understand. You're friends with the Jonas Brothers. So what's that mean in fighting? They're not coming to your fight. They're not even old enough to come and support you and watch your fights. So all of this stuff with the Jonas Brothers and all this, so he's like, I don't want to fight that guy. We got to build it up and make it a big event, and I want more money. And you see, when you start going down this road, you're setting yourself up for disaster. And they don't even know it. Beat the guy that's in front of you, and in that way, don't nobody even have to worry about it. Did he even realize why he's in Canelo's camp as it is? It's because he got himself, some guy handed it to him. He got handedly beat. That's why they like, look, we got to put you with somebody that can get you ready for a fight. We can't have you losing, and we got to pay all these people for the result. So, they want to do that down the line. now we got to rig fights already for you. You know, that we got to make sure you're getting the proper training. I think personally they're going to make some different changes, and especially with Canelo's team. So they're going to have to do some changes here as far as the people they have that they're representing and all of this stuff. So you're going to see a lot of different things move around in the recent couple of weeks. But it's harming boxing. Look at Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford has been out the ring because he can't get a fight that's worthy of him being on ESPN. They're trying to negotiate a Kell Brook fight. That fight was, who knows how that negotiation is going now, because they really don't have the money to get him. And Al Heyman is trying to, like, well, we'll just keep fighting all these guys that we got here until we, you know, till you run out of people. It's like, it's ridiculous. And people are like, oh, no, you're going to see Arrow fight Terrence. It's going to happen. When? You know, it's like these fights need to happen now. Let's get these fights going now. People want to see these fights right now. I don't want to see no more shoe-shine job, no more hype job. And, I mean, with every Floyd Mayweather fight, we used to hear how he ain't fighting anybody. Then he fight the guy and beat him, and he goes immediately. He ain't fighting anybody. Well, he ain't fighting nobody. This guy, he ain't fighting nobody. My thing is, where did this come from? Where did this narrative come from? Because it definitely is gone now. Everybody gets a pass.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, Floyd was just fighting in the wrong era. Because now everybody's getting a pass.
Well, imagine what the DAZN would give to Floyd, dude. I mean, they would have probably given him $50 million to fight anybody. It's freaking crazy, dude. You got any, you're breaking up pretty good here. I can't really hear you that well. You got anything else you want to share there, buddy?
No, nothing too much. I know I'm probably breaking up because of this microphone.
Good.
It's not a very reliable one, but no, that was about it. I'm just venting my frustrations. Thanks for allowing that.
Of course.
Today.
Hey, I got one more question. What do you think of Vergil Ortiz Jr. going against Antonio Orozco this weekend on DAZN? Orozco last year went to war with Ramirez. This is a good-ass fight. This is a big test considering where Vergil Ortiz Jr. is.
Yeah, I think this is his biggest test. And I think he's going to get pushed to the limit. I think it's going to go to the cards. He's going to get a decision. But, yeah, it's going to be tough. This is a tough bout for him. So this is going to be the grown-up fight here. This fight's going to grow him up real fast. So I hope he's ready. But I think he'll do well. Because he's going to go through hell. There's no doubt about that. Because, I mean, I think he's going to realize, like, okay, wait, this guy can really crack. Let me slow this thing down a bit, and then let's try to box, use our angles, you know, but it's going to break out into a war. I say about the third round, the fight's going to break out to a war, and you're going to see punches fly. But I think he does. I think he'll win it, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so,
really
too.
do.
I like Ortiz. I think he's a good fighter.
Too. Yeah, he's bringing excitement back, you know. Yeah.
Hell yeah, he is. All right, buddy. Well, you have yourself a good week and weekend, and we'll talk to you next week, all right?
All right, thanks for having me on, guys.
Appreciate it, man. You take it easy. As always, check out Garcino for Life on YouTube. You already know the drill. Boxing Socialist, him and Sean do a great job over there. Definitely looking forward to that. And you know what? You might as well just jump into some of that. I mean, there's, like I said, later August has some intriguing fights, a little bit more anyway. There's not a ton of 50-50 fights. We just had a great card, action-wise and upset-wise, to begin August. But, August tends to be a little light. But the card they got going here for DAZN, we're talking about Golden Boy and whatnot. Well, here's a positive thing here for DAZN. Vergil Ortiz Jr. taking on Antonio Orozco and Franco and Negrete on the undercard. That's a trilogy, by the way. I'm definitely excited for this one. Definitely excited for this one. I mean, they went to, like I mentioned, Orozco and Ramirez went to war last, September or something like that? In fact, I looked up the CompuBox numbers. So Ramirez threw 1,000 punches. He landed 381. But he got 263 punches landed on him and 782 at 34%. So Orozco definitely more than held his own in that fight. Now Ramirez clearly won and whatnot, but it's going to be a hell of a test. There's no doubt about it. And I just really like this fight, man. It's early. I'm trying to think. Is it 12-0 or 13-0? With I suppose I could just check real quick, huh? What the hell is it? Yeah, I think it's 13-0. I believe. Let me check. Yeah, 13-0 for Vergil Ortiz. 13-0, all of them knockout. And this dude, I don't know, man. He's pretty aggressive. He's coming off a much easier win than I thought, even though Mauricio Herrera is clearly fading, or has already faded. But I still thought he'd be crafty in the ring, and, nope, that was not the case. Another, vet he fought with Salgado, Juan Carlos Salgado. We've seen him in plenty of different fights over the years. He knocked him out. Obviously, he's knocked everybody out, whether it's KO or TKO. So, yeah, this is a big step up. No doubt about it. This is going to be a good fight. Orozco is giving up a couple of inches as far as height. I think it's 5'10" and 5'7". But the reach is 70 for both of them. Now, obviously, Orozco's probably going to want to come to him. He did manage to get a fight off in March, so that's good for him. It was a UD. Orozco has had weight issues. The outside, the ring discipline hasn't been great. He did beat recently in the last chunk of years Abner Lopez, Humberto Soto, Emmanuel Taylor, Keandre Gibson. That was on ESPN if I remember correctly. So he's got Huerte. He's got a bunch of veterans on his ledger. And obviously Ramirez. He lost to Ramirez clearly, but still, it was a good-ass fight. And he's been relatively active. He did have that moment where, he had a gap in, I think it was 2016 to 2017, almost a year off in there. So I guess my thing is, well, let me double check. Is this going to be at 140 or is this going to be at 147? I think it's at 140. Division, it says super light. So is that super light welterweight? Is that what that is? I thought, I could have sworn he's a welterweight, but maybe he's a 140. Maybe he's a 140. I don't know why I thought he was a welterweight. I guess I'm wrong. But Orozco brings it, dude. He's got some skill, no doubt about it. I just really want to see what Robert Garcia has as far as game plan for the young Vergil Ortiz, who is 21 literally. Vergil Ortiz Jr., this guy that has plenty of skill, but he's looking to knock you out. But like I said, he does have skill. He's very accurate with his punches. It doesn't seem like he wastes a ton of punches. It's tough to tell. We're gonna, as a prospect, sometimes it's tough to tell what type of fighter is gonna be, or, the fighter he's facing, Orozco, I forgot his nickname is Relentless. He's 31 already, huh? But yeah, honestly, I'm looking forward to this fight. I think it's a legitimate fight. I do think Vergil will win. I don't think he did kind of feel out Herrera for like a minute or two, and then he just went off on him. But if I remember correctly, it was a short fight, but I do think he actually came out with, some sort of, like he wasn't just going, I'm going to just knock this dude out. He knew he was facing a crafty dude. And Orozco has a lot of fights. He's fought a lot of veterans, like I said. So, to me, I feel like this is going to at least go till the 8th or 10th round. We're going to find out just how much power and accuracy, young Vergil Ortiz Jr. has. And how much he'll stick to that game plan. Will he be trying to come forward too and they kind of meet? Or will he be pivoting and jabbing and setting up punches, that type of thing? And obviously we don't know if Orozco, obviously he probably got paid nicely for that fight with Ramirez. Let's hope he can make the weight this weekend. That'll be a big thing for him. But I'm looking forward to this fight. This is going to be a hell of a fight, man. This is going to be fun. And can he knock him out? I think he can, but I feel like it's going to go the distance. So that's what I'm going to go with. A distance. Let me see. Is it 10 or 12? I think it's. Let me double check here. Something's up with this schedule. It's just not opening. Oh, there it is. What do we got here? Let's see. Where is it? Where the hell is it? It's a 10-rounder. So, and it says welterweight. It does say welterweight, though I think I'm right. But then again, last week it said middleweight on the ESPN schedule, and I believe boxing scene, but don't quote me on that one. But I'm going Ortiz by unanimous decision, 10 rounds. I think he'll drop Ortiz. Orozco. I think Ortiz will hurt him at least. I think he'll drop him, but I think Orozco will make it. Be pretty damn impressive if he just takes 6 rounds and dismantles him. It was pretty impressive what he did Herrera, I thought. I know Herrera's past it, but still, Herrera's got some skill, dude. Just didn't line up with him that night. Joshua Franco and Oscar Negrete, third fight, 10-round bantamweight. That should be interesting. I'm looking forward to that. ESPN Plus has a card. Not much there. A freak accident. Frampton was walking like in the hotel and something fell on his ass. So he's okay, but he's not going to be able to fight. To be honest with you, it wasn't really a fight I was, like really pondering much, to be honest. I just, you know what I mean? It was like, whatever. It didn't do a whole lot for me. But yeah, man. Where the hell? Okay. I just got lost there. Something's up with my switchboard. I got some more texts. Maybe that was just a late text. Yeah, it looks like it's okay. I was trying to do a couple things at once there. Okay, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, I was on the third fight. That's right. So Negrete won the second fight. I think it was the second fight. Oh, no, Franco won the second fight, but he probably shouldn't have. Most people thought, let me get this straight. The first one was a draw, right? A split decision draw. I totally remember that. And did Negrete win the second one? Or was it it was a split decision? Oscar Negrete won via split decision. So they fought last October, and then they recently fought earlier this year in April. Both of them were good fights. The first one, to me, was just a tad better. Negrete got off to a good start. I thought he won the first handful of rounds. Then it seemed like Franco came back into the fight. And I gave him like the third, fourth, and fifth, or wait, the fourth, fifth, and sixth. Gave him the seventh and the eighth. I actually had him coming all the way back. I had it either 5-5 or 6-4 or 5-4 won Franco. That's the first fight. Then I thought Negrete clearly won. You know, it's kind of weird because you're going to see, you know, Negrete is a guy that's either in the middle of the ring or coming at you and throwing in combination, the busier fighter usually. And I mean, these guys were well over 2,000 punches. I think it was 2,200 in that first fight. So these guys were getting it in. And the punch stats were so close in that first fight. 1,111, that's what Negrete threw, 1,146. And that's in a 10-rounder, mind you. I don't think it went 12. I think it was a 10-rounder. So based on, I mean, the first fight, Franco's going to have to do good in the first 3-4 rounds and try to be like 2-2 after 4. If he can accomplish that, then I think, okay, here we go. You know, he's going to – I think he'll win the fight. So I have Negrete by decision to finish off that trilogy. And then I have by decision, I have Ortiz as well. Man, I'm looking forward to that Ortiz fight, though. Really think that's going to be fun to watch. Just I always like you can see, you know, these guys, these young prospects fight guys that are maybe faded or maybe they don't get as much credit, like the Herrera fight just a little bit ago. And, you know, it happens. No big deal. Who cares, right? But you just never know until they fight people. You know, a lot of people like to look at a fifth fight and be like, oh, dude, did you see that power? And, oh, dude, this and that. Or, oh, he got dropped, but maybe it's against a good vet. Remember Andre Ward coming up? I mean, he didn't look great at all coming up. Now, I'm not talking about coming up like as an Olympian in an amateur, but I'm saying as a prospect. But when you look at who he got dropped by, then you go, oh, well, wait a second. That actually turned out to be a good fight for him. And after that fight, he looked pretty damn good ever since. So, yeah, that's who I'm going with. Negrete and Ortiz Jr., both by 10-round decision. Interesting card, though. I like the doubleheader. I think it's going to be, well, I'd say it's a double or triple header, but it's DAZN, so they can play all of it. Hopefully there'll be something interesting on the other as well. I'm going to definitely take a gander. Like I said, Carl Frampton got hurt. No, really, I mean, it sucks for him. He doesn't get paid, but the fight, there was nothing there. That's where I got lost when I was trying to look at the switchboard of my Texas. That's what I was talking about, Frampton. So to me, it was just a stay busy fight going against a dude he should easily beat. So there wasn't much in it. Sucks for that guy. Hopefully that guy got another fight. I don't remember seeing it. If he did, I'm not sure. But we'll see. We'll see. You know, it was really just a stay busy tune-up coming off a loss for Frampton just to go back in there with somebody through the top rank, you know, stuff. So it is what it is. It is what it is. So that's kind of the weekend, or that is the weekend, not kind of. I'm going to go through some news items, and then we're going to dig deep into that Canelo, Golden Boy, DAZN, Golovkin. Everybody's got some issues right now. So as far as news goes, Clarissa Shields was supposed to fight, like I mentioned, next weekend on Showtime. And she hurt her knee. Well, it sounds like the knee injury is good to go. She's back at it. She's okay, which is good to hear. Wasn't anything serious. And she is penciled in October 5th, I'm assuming, on Showtime. Let me just double check if that 5th, I believe that 5th is a Saturday. Yep, it is. So, you know, we'll keep you posted as far as the undercard and whatnot. Speaking about penciled in, December 14th, sounds like at the Barclays in Brooklyn. December 14th, Williams versus Hurd, Dose, Part 2. I'm assuming it's on Fox. That's just an assumption, though. I'm assuming it's on Fox because Fox has December 14th penciled in. But I guess we can't say for sure. It could be on Showtime. Maybe Fox will do something earlier, and Showtime will do something later that night. I guess you could say potentially. But December 14th, that's a card that's penciled in for a Fox fight. So we'll see. There was some talks going on with Munguia and Vargas, Jesse Vargas at 54, which I thought, okay, they were going to kind of salvage not having Canelo on the Mexican Independence weekend, and they were going to try to put Munguia and Vargas in that spot, which I thought, well, it's not Canelo, but hey, it's something. It's Mexican, Mexican versus Mexican, so that'd be kind of cool. Plus, I like that fight. I like Munguia against Vargas a lot more than I like Munguia and Golovkin or Munguia and Canelo. But unfortunately, it sounds like the talks are not only stalled, but they may be just off, which is kind of interesting. Billy Joe Saunders split ways with Frank Warren. Sounds like he's going to sign with Eddie Hearn. Of course, he's going to be trying to fight Callum Smith. Of course, why not? As far as trouble, Carlos Baltimore is a piece of shit. 18 years for sexually assaulting his daughter. Is that in Argentina? Another piece of, Kovalev might be in trouble again. This time in an airplane. He got kicked off an airplane. Supposedly he was kissing, whispering sweet nothings. He should have just, kept it to that. That would help him. He was whispering sweet nothings to this lady. Then he kissed her hand. Then he may have done other stuff to her. I don't know if he grabbed her or if he was harassing her verbally as well. But then he threw money at her. That's the report anyway. Kovalev, man. That dude should not get liquor near him. It seems like he's kind of a mess up when he's drunk. But hey, a lot of people are that way. The WBO calls the with Bob only, or Frank too, I suppose. The WBO calls for 2 fights. Now that Oscar Valdez at 126 featherweight division said, no, I can't make that weight anymore. He's going up to 130. Shakur Stevenson and Joet Gonzalez, a battle of unbeatens for the featherweight title. That is official. Well, it's not official. It's a called, and now they got to negotiate. And then Jose Ramirez and Jack Catterall. What is it, Catterall? Catterall? It sounds like the WBO has enforced that. Obviously, Ramirez just got that belt, or 2 belts, I should say. And that type of things happen usually in that case. So the parties for Stevenson Gonzalez have they have 30 days until September 5th, and then to negotiate. Then a purse bid will be called, and I'm assuming it's right around the same thing for Ramirez. So that is, interesting or whatever, right? Real quick, let me just make sure. Oh, speaking of the IBF or belts and, stuff like that, sanctioning belts the IBF, no surprise here. They stripped, Canelo last week, and we figured Derevyanchenko and Golovkin would be called, and it got called, and it sounds like Derevyanchenko is expected to earn very close to that $5.5 million that was offered for Canelo. Supposedly it's going to be close to that. And that's the thing. So it sounds like it's already a done deal. Sounds like it's a done deal, Derevyanchenko and Golovkin. But it's kind of weird, man. It's kind of weird because Golovkin. Well, no, I shouldn't say Golovkin. That'll be different. I was about to go off on, not go off, but Golovkin has some issues with his own right now too. But a lot of people were giving Derevyanchenko a lot of shit the last week or whatever because, he was saying, well, dude, you've never made this much money. Why are you asking for all this money for a Canelo fight? Just take the fucking fight. But what people fail to realize is every sanctioning belt, we're talking about the IBF right now, they have, the purse bid stuff, right? And there's percentages in those purse bids. So if Canelo was going to make on average $34 million, well, if it went to purse bid, theoretically, or the purse, what's at stake, if it would go to purse bid, which they didn't want it to, he would be in line for, what was it, 30 or 35% of the purse. So it was going to be several million as it stood. And I guess there really wasn't much negotiation. It was when the IBF was getting close to stripping, then all of a sudden Oscar and company came over and said, whoa, what? No, we'll do a deal. And they kept saying that we're negotiating. But it sounds like they weren't actually really fully negotiating with Derevyanchenko until the last moment. You know what I mean? So I really don't know what's up with that. But for all those people that were, giving Derevyanchenko a bunch of shtick, I got news for you because a lot of people are like, you're going to go back to making $250,000 or $500,000 your next fight. It's like, no, he's not. No, he's actually going to make about $5 million or something like that, $4 or $5 million. So, it's all in the rules. It's all right there. And by the way, this kind of translates, we're just transition to Canelo and Golovkin and all that. Oscar and Golden Boy, they came out with kind of a weird little statement of, we're disappointed in the IBF, and that's great. I understand that, Derevyanchenko lost to Jacobs, and they clearly beat Jacobs. Why we fight Derevyanchenko again? By the way, Jacobs and Derevyanchenko was hella close. I haven't said hella in a long time. I don't know why I did, but I did. And now I feel like saying it over and over again. That was hella close, though. It was a knockdown basically at the end. That's what won the fight. So it is what it is. I get that, but we all know the IBF means business. In this, I'm not saying they always put up like the best mandatories. I mean, who the fuck does put up great mandatories over and over again? Nobody. But they do stick to their guns. So, to be all weird, like, I can't believe you did that. It's like, why can't you believe you did that? So here's a couple of items here. And now you had Canelo tweeting, I'm very upset and ashamed with my fans to be unfairly stripped of my belt by the IBF, which he wasn't unfairly stripped, but specifically when I did not have the knowledge of the agreement that Golden Boy Matchmaker had signed. So there's some shit popping off when it comes to this situation. By the way, I forgot to say this, but Kownacki personally sold 2,000 tickets, which was close to $200,000. Just him selling them, which is pretty dope. I just had these tweets saved, and I just ran across that one. By the way, Ryan Garcia added, the bottom line is I deserve right promotion for fights with the full time to promote and not be thrown into a fight, have myself do the whole promotion, knowing my fan base, they will still tune out, but I want basically a full promotion. He's starting to go, hey, dude, wait a second. You know, there was a little blip that like $900,000 or $950,000 of revenue. That doesn't mean it's profit, but there was $950,000 of revenue. Now, where all this revenue came from, I'm not sure. But maybe that was, I don't know. I don't know where they got $950,000 on his last card. It surely wasn't at the gate. So I'm not really sure what was said there. But he got paid $50,000 for something that generated revenue-wise $950. That was kind of the thing there. Eric Gomez came out and actually backed up their matchmaker, Roberto. He said Roberto did nothing wrong. The IBF has been unfair to Canelo since he won the title in May. Oscar De La Hoya and I stand by Roberto. And it's kind of weird to be like, I don't know, like, I'd probably keep that stuff in-house. But speaking of Ryan Garcia, he wants to know what's going on. So he retained a powerful boxing lawyer who will be advising him. I guess here's what I was just saying. One big issue, Garcia earned $50,000 for his March bout, despite Golden Boy approaching $1 million of revenue on the DAZN with Garcia as the headliner. So he has gotten a lawyer. He's lawyering up. Golovkin's lawyering up because he's like, wait a second. Wait just a fucking second. Golovkin's like, where's my fight in September with Canelo? You told me I had that fight, and supposedly they put it in the contract. Now this is supposedly. So now it sounds like maybe, you know, DAZN was promised with Oscar for Canelo's side, right? But Golovkin was promised by DAZN, and I don't know if that was in the contract or whatever, but DAZN may be in breach of contract with Golovkin. So Golovkin now has sent DAZN a letter of the violation, demanding a title fight, so their guy has a belt to dangle for Canelo. Because remember, Canelo said, you know, get a belt and then we'll talk. Well, it sounds like they got Golovkin figured out with this Derevyanchenko thing, right? But as far as the Oscar De La Hoya thing, I don't know what really is going to come of this. Here is some late news. I'm not going to say breaking news, but Michael Coppinger, he starts it out with sources. Canelo Alvarez and his attorney and Eddie, what is it? Renazio? What the hell? Renazzo. They met with Golden Boy refs Monday in L.A., where their star fighter expresses immense frustration with two potential fall fights falling through, and the IBF was stripped after a deal was signed without his knowledge. Okay? So, this is all strange. So we knew the strip would come, yada, yada, yada. By the way, that sounds like it's October 1st. 5th? Did I just say 1st? October 5th. You can tell I'm tired. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. So we know that's what the working date is. Golovkin, Derevyanchenko, October 5th. Now, I've heard working dates October 20-something for Golovkin. We'll see how that works out. But it sounds like Golovkin might be okay with this. But as far as Canelo and Golden Boy, now if that's true that Oscar De La Hoya and DAZN made Oscar, he made Oscar, I don't know if it's like a handshake and I trust you, or if it's in contract. You'd think it'd be in contract in a sense, because how else are you going to, how else are you going to, pull the rug out? Or how else are you going to discipline? How else are you going to say, no, we're forcing this, I don't know. Now, as far as the other side of it, basically, the Canelo deal was signed before Golovkin got on the network, as we know. So it's really a confusing thing. So Canelo got the guarantee from DAZN, 11 fights, 10 fights, whatever the hell it is, for $365 or $350, whatever the hell the report is. It does sound like there's a guarantee in there. And that's probably why maybe Canelo was willing to take less against Derevyanchenko to make it less overall, the purse. So therefore, if it went to purse bid, Derevyanchenko would have gotten a little less, and that's why they're going like, here, dude, this is what we're going to do. Take the money. I don't know. But it's kind of crazy here because we previously had known that Canelo was starting to go, so Golden Boy got a deal off of me, basically? So we knew that Golden Boy got 10 cards, 10 spots a year, right? 10 cards a year. Well, we never knew the price. And the price, the money that Golden Boy got is just astonishing. The rumor is 5 years, 90 mil. So that's about 18 mil a year. And they don't have, besides, Canelo, they don't have big money makers yet. So, where's all this money going? Was some of the, were they trying to, shortchange people? And when I say shortchange people like Kovalev or Derevyanchenko, I don't mean shortchange them like $5 million or $4 million is not a lot of money. Of course it is. But the market gets set, and then the future opponents get set off that. We talked about this weeks ago, and we talked about it right when it happened. If you give Jacobs that kind of money, that's where it's set. Just like Charles Martin got a ton of money to go to the UK when he won that belt on an injury. Well, they overpaid him. Well, that's why Dillian White's like, well, wait a second, dog. I get more money than Charles Martin. What are you talking about? I should get double his money. But that's the price that you set, so you got to pay the piper. Unfortunately, that's usually how it happens. And you're wondering, well, hold on now. Okay, if you're looking at DAZN, we're guaranteeing, Canelo, what, 34 or 35, whatever the fuck it is, million a fight, minimum. And then we gave you 18 mil a year. You got to come up with the opponent money. Some of that opponent money's got to come out of your 18 mil. Just to put it in perspective, I remember in 2012, Showtime started competing. And once they got Golden Boy and Al Heyman fighters all the way in 2013, I remember Dan Rafael saying that they're now basically just a couple of mil away on budget from HBO. And that was over 20 mil at that time. So the whole freaking network of Showtime had a bomb-ass year in 2013 on just a little bit more money than what they gave to Golden Boy. And my whole point to bring this up is Golden Boy trying to just bank off that money? Because obviously they're not spending $18 million on their own fighters in 10 cards. I mean, think about it, that doesn't line up. So in 10 cards, some of this money is probably for opponents for Oscar or other fights you're trying to make with your squad, your team. We hear Kovalev say, nah, dog, you got to put the money up. If you give Jacobs this, you got to give me that. He was asking for more money. Even Derevyanchenko was asking for money they didn't think he deserved. Well, it's like I said, it's not always about what you deserve. It's not always about that. So, and then if Golden Boy, if Oscar De La Hoya literally, if that's in contract, that he guarantees a fight for Canelo, you'd assume that was breaking the Ali Act. And then if Golovkin in his contract has it guaranteed, although he signed it, and maybe he asked for it, and that's the thing. The Ali Act is there for the fighter. It's on the fighter. The fighter is the one that, it's based to take people to court off the Ali Act. It's for the fighter. So some people are saying, well, Golovkin is going to sue them. Well, hold on. He's the one who signed the fucking contract, too. And was that what took so long? Was that what took so damn long for Golovkin to sign? Because he wanted assurance, probably. And who knows? Maybe it was just a money thing. I have no clue. But that's breaking the Ali Act if they guaranteed a Canelo fight next for him, which next, I mean, he fought in June. It was supposed to be in September. So are they going to be okay with Golovkin now? Because, like I said, they got him the Derevyanchenko fight. That's what all the sources are telling us. I think they'll be okay. But could Canelo have a case of breach of contract with his own promoter if, in fact, it's true that Oscar De La Hoya put on paper in a contract that I guarantee the trilogy will happen? I don't know. And it's real odd because, remember, after the fight, it wasn't just Canelo saying, go get a belt, go fuck yourself. Oscar was saying similar things. And he wasn't saying, oh, the trilogy's next. He was saying, we have options. Well, if you already knew on paper that's why I don't know if it's verbally handshake or if it's in paper. The verbally handshake thing, well, obviously, John Skipper got totally fucked on that if it is. But would Skipper do that? Would he say, hey, forget the verbal, we got to put it in writing? I don't know. I know this stuff's legal in the UK and other countries as far as futures, guaranteeing an actual fight. It's not legal here. Not to say it never happens, but it's not legal here. You could promise people and say it's going to happen. Remember Holyfield sitting ringside in Japan with Buster Douglas and Tyson. There's a contract waiting for him to sign for over $20 million, but that contract doesn't kick in and isn't able to be, guaranteed and all that stuff until Tyson wins, So, I mean, obviously he fought Buster next anyway, but so yeah, man, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Canelo's going to be up to zone, dude. I'm not saying that. But Canelo, if Canelo is truly finding out that Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions, if he found out that they guaranteed in writing, there's got to be some sort of breach of contract there. And if he now knows that they got $90 million because of Canelo, basically, he's got to be like, so fucking throw money at my opponents and let's get this thing wrapped up. What are we waiting on then? You guys got $18 million a year. So that's a problem. That's a problem. Anyway, I'm going to shut that down. No more talking about that. So Portland, you may want to get in position, okay? I'm going to let you shut the show down. You get in position, and you let me know when and if you're ready to go, okay? So I got a couple other items that I'm going to get to, and then we're going to let you shut down the show, okay? So I'm just throwing that out, let you get in position. Don't forget to check out Vergil Ortiz Jr., a rising prospect, taking a big step up, dude, against Antonio Orozco. Tyson Fury, Jesus Christ, Tyson Fury. My goodness gracious. You know, did Bob Arum and Top Rank just go, you know what, dude? Did you see that concussion he withstand? You know, he withstood. He obviously got a concussion in that fight with De La Hoya, with Wilder. So are they like, you know what? Let's just keep him in rhythm. Let's get him another easy fight. Let's get him in Vegas again, since more than likely the fight's going to be in Vegas, and let's get him to February against Wilder. It's funny because I guarantee you he ain't making, you know, he's always talking shit about, oh, well, Pacquiao, they're not making any money off Pacquiao. Well, I guarantee you're not making any fucking money off your last fight and off this fight with Fury. And a lot of people still talking about Wilder should have signed with DAZN for multiple fights. He missed out on $100 million. Well, obviously he wouldn't have got that $100 million the way it all worked out, did it? Because remember, they didn't even have fucking Joshua signed for the fight. And this whole Canelo Golovkin thing is telling you exactly what happens, because you're not supposed to be able to guarantee you. And I bring it up because the Wilder thing, remember, yeah, we want the fight this fall. Then they send like a 5 or 6 fight deal that Wilder has to vaguely sign. And then they started talking about, oh, yeah, 2 fights apiece. We'll get them on ESPN. And then next year, it's going to be 2 million pay-per-view and all that shit. Well, dude, if you're going to get, I mean, I understand like these Tyson Fury quick little fights do something. You get a press run, sure, I understand that. You get that. It helps you in Vegas where he hadn't fought. So that I get that. But dude, come on. Like, this has nothing to do with Otto, okay? I mean, I'm like half Swedish. My mom lives in Sweden, for Christ's sakes. I got a big-ass Swedish/Scandinavian forehead, okay? My last name is Carlson. So that's fucking Swedish, dude. So I don't have anything against Otto Wallin, whatever the fuck his name is. But come on, I mean, at least I made a joke the other day. At least he's the number 1 rated Swedish heavyweight. Because remember, old boy from Germany wasn't even the first rated guy, I thought. And didn't Top Rank last year bring over a guy like a super middleweight from Ghana who was like not even the first rated Ghanaian guy? I think that's what it was. But anyway, who knows? Maybe this fucking guy Otto Wallin, maybe he gives them rounds. I mean, that's the hope. And maybe Fury carries him because he wants more than a round or 2. And he's going to be in better shape than he was a year ago less than a year ago when he fought Wilder. We know that. So I think they're just trying to get him from point A to point B. And I understand that, but dog, get Charles Martin. Get somebody, dude. Get somebody. Like, this definitely doesn't build him, though. Yeah, the press run's nice, but it's already on ESPN Plus. It's already on ESPN Plus. So you are, you're cutting down. You're cutting down your exposure just being on ESPN Plus. So he'll be on the show. It'll help him in Vegas, but this whole we're going to sign him or we're going to make him a big star, right now that's a crock of shit, dude. That's a crock of shit. And this is a shitty fight. Like I said, maybe this dude fucking takes him rounds. Maybe Tyson carries him for a little bit just to make it better. I don't know. But come on, dude. Look at without that, what is that? 4 out of his last fight. Look at the opponents, dude. Now, the first 2 I understand. But you already fought Wilder. So you coming off a concussion, I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. But now it's like, dude, line up. And they were going to put him in New York, which I thought was actually a good idea. But maybe that Golovkin fight is going to be in New York now in Madison Square Garden, October 5th. That was the rumored date, October 5th, for his return. So that sucks too. I would have liked him to get some New York press, so he got some West Coast press, L.A., and then go out to New York. But whatever, it is what it is. But that's garbage, dude. And if Al Heyman lets his guys fight guys like this, he gets destroyed. Now, I'm not saying some people haven't destroyed it, but it's just funny. Like, it's just funny. You sign a deal with ESPN at Top Rank, and everything's going to blow up. And look at these two opponents, dude. That's pretty fucking garbage. Broner versus Red Catch and Lubin versus Hogan. That's a rumored. Well, it's not rumored. It's going to happen. I'm assuming it's on Showtime because in October there is no FS1 cards or Fox cards. They're in November either. I think there's a FS1 card after the World Series. I'm not saying right after, like a lead-in, but I believe there is an FS1 card in November. But I know for a fact there's not one in October because of baseball. And FS1 is just, and Fox is just baseball, because it's baseball playoffs, which is in October and early November. That's why they call, great players Mr. October, like Derek Jeter. So I think that's on Showtime. Red Catch almost beat Molina. Hurt him really bad a while back, like a year ago. And I thought he was going to beat him. He ended up losing. He was losing, I believe, to Devin Alexander, who had looked sharp. Alexander looked sharp of late, and he knocked him out. So I like this fight. Now, Broner, Red Catch, that's an easy fight for him. Yeah and no. I mean, Red Catch, first of all, stylistically, it's a good fight. And Broner needs a win. You may say, Broner, screw Broner. Okay, screw him. But if the guy fought Manny Pacquiao, Jesse Vargas, and Mikey Garcia, that's his last 3 fights, right? I believe. So, facing Red Catchers, all action, has power. I think that's a good fight, actually. But I like that Lubin and Hogan, because Hogan is the one who most people thought beat Munguia. So Erickson Lubin stepped up. That's a really good doubleheader, and I believe that's on Showtime. So that about wraps it up. I'm going to go out to Portland, 503, and let him shut this puppy down. What's going on, Portland? How the F are you, buddy?
Hey, yo, what up, Chris? I'm doing good here. Beautiful Oregon. It's been sunny as hell. But yeah, man, everything going good, man. And that anthem was for Arreola, man. Even though you get the W, you still showed balls, you showed heart, and you showed real toughness, man. So nothing but respect for Arreola. But yeah, man, but yeah, let's get into it, man. Let's pretty good, solid, Saturday for boxing. Those matchmakers got to give themselves a pat in the back, because that was actually pretty, that was a pretty fun card, in my opinion. We started off with Curtis Stevens versus Omotoso. Yeah, Wale Omotoso, man. And then this fight, man, I wanted to see Curtis Stevens, and I wanted to see what he still had. Obviously, he's had some get back to getting, some get back. He definitely needed a win. I don't know when was the last time, in my opinion, we saw him, but I just remember him getting knocked out by Lemieux. That was probably the most devastating, one of the most devastating knockouts I've ever seen. But I wanted to see how he looked, and especially at 54, he moved down in weight. He looked good for the starting, for the start, and there, it sucked, man. He got dropped 3 times, and that definitely that chin is, it's an Amir Khan chin. So it's just, I don't know what to say. I would hate, I'm not one of those people to say when to retire, but it kind of all points to that direction, in my opinion. If you got dropped by a jab, then I don't know, just you kind of need to move on from boxing. Maybe, you know, I don't know, training or something. I don't know, man. I mean, because you went down in weight, you know, with that, you know, you get less water in you, so you have less, you know, you have less of a chin. So I don't know, man. If you lost to Wally Omotoso, I don't know, he probably should retire. But yeah, man. But as far as Kurt, you know, as far as that fight, it was still good. I mean, it was still good, you know, for 3 rounds. It was, you know, it was pretty okay, you know, it was some action. So, you know, can't hate on that. And also, man, let me start off by apologizing. And you know, Jean Pacal, you know, he deserves nothing but respect. You know, I said the GOAT to Jean Pacal last weekend, and dude, man, this dude rejuvenated his career. You know, took 2 interim belts. Dude, this guy's on top of the world right now, man. And you know, it was kind of a letdown, you know, that in the last round, I believe it was the 7th round, where the headbutt caused the you know, for the fight to be over and go to the scorecards. And but man, those knockdowns, man, those clean flush knockdowns with the same punch, though, that, like, you know, like right hand, just fucking, you know, just a haymaker of a hand, man. He caught him, man. And it was just beautiful, man. That first one, when he went down and his eyes rolled, you know, almost rolled in the back of his head, man. That I got a little worried. I mean, I thought shit was over, man, because he almost got flatlined, man. But damn, dude, that dude, I'm not gonna kid, man. Brown's got heart, man. You know, him coming up and you know, showing his grit and, you know, showing toughness, man. I can't, you know, you have to respect that, man. And but damn, you can't, you know, not respect Jean Pacal for, you know, just showing that toughness, man. Even though I felt like the only rounds he won were really the ones where he scored the knockdowns. And but I don't know, Brown was looking good until, you know, until that, you know what I mean? So I definitely want to see the rematch.
He got up too fast with the knockdowns, though. But you're right. I had him winning every round except those 2. There was a couple of tight rounds, but he's already he wants to exercise the rematch.
Yeah, and he deserves. He gets all the right to, man. Because I mean, the ending with the headbutt, it's just it should be a sour taste in you know, in Brown's mouth. Like, just because I know. Just that's a shitty ending, man. I mean, I'm sure he wanted to continue and fight, but I mean, just look at that headbutt. If you look at it even in real time, if you look at it even in real time, it's like, it's so fucking, you know, it's just devastating, man. It's just such a crazy ass headbutt. Like, you just see the skin just opening up and just really
they called
just
that
fucking
accidental.
just looking nasty, bro.
They called that accidental. It's like, oh, that was accidental, huh? Okay.
Yeah, man, it's just it was just I don't know, it was crazy, man. It was just it was one of those, like, leaning in headbutts, kind of a Billy Goat headbutt style. I mean, my opinion, because it just seems like it was intentional, man. It just, you know, Pascal's you know, he's definitely a veteran and he knows how to get away with tactics. And, you know, he fought Bernard Hopkins a few times, so I'm sure he took a couple of pages off his books, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, but as far as that, Jean Pacal, you know, he definitely deserves the gloat. He's got 2 belts, you know, he's good, man. He's right there. And plus, I want to see that rematch for sure, 100% next. Brown, you know, he just needs to, you know, he really needs to work on that defense, because he dropped his left hand. Because, I mean, he got dropped, those 3 times he got dropped, right, were from the same punch, right? I believe. And, I mean, if you're getting caught with those flush,
right,
man.
Counters. Yeah, the right counters. 2 out of the 3 were right counters.
Yeah, right. And but there was one, like, kind of like inside the pocket when he fell up against, like, where it was kind of against the ropes. I believe it was the 3rd one. You know, wasn't that a right hand too? But it was kind of in the inside.
It could have been both. I saw left too, but yeah, it could have been both.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, either way, he kind of got caught with almost the same punches. So I mean, I'm sure he's going to work on, you know, his defense and give us a hell of a fight. So I just, you know, it's a good scrap. And I don't know what's going on between two with that whole 50 Cent situation where he said, you know, I'm a man of my word and, you know, I got your money or some shit. And I don't know, it's funny, man. And
oh, yeah.
I
think he owed him money. I think he owed him money. I forgot about that. Pascal was hilarious. He brought a wig to the presser and shit. He brought a wig and said, all right, So you won't guarantee you'll knock out me if I put this wig on. Will you knock me out? It was pretty funny, dude.
Yeah, he's a character, man, and but yeah, hopefully he gets that sorted out, and just that whole thing is funny, and I mean calling out. 50, it sucks. In all honesty, if I could comment real quick, 50, there was a point where he wanted to be a promoter, and I was excited about it because he had Gamboa, and I believe Billy Dibb. I want to say Billy Dibb, but I can't remember. And I was kind of excited to see a new promoter up in the boxing business, but you know how that goes, man. These not a lot of people survive in this business, man, and you got Dana White out there. Talking about how the model of boxing is broken and he's here to fix it. I really don't know. Obviously, he's got that whole UFC market down, and you can't hate what he did over there for MMA and how much he blew it up in such a short amount of time. But I mean, if he's trying to fix boxing, there's no fixing it, man. It's like it's like pee in the pool. Once it's in there, it's in there. You can't get it out. And plus, him. Knowing him, he probably might start his own league, make his own belts, have his own set his own rules. There's a lot of things in my opinion, but it's just I don't know, but I mean I got away from the whole 50 thing, but anyways, 50 was I was saying 50 was a player that I wanted to see in boxing, but it sucks like that shit's over, but funny that he's still kind of relevant in boxing, so but shout out to 50, man, and but also, man, let's get into it. The main event did not let us down. It was such a good scrap, man, back and forth from the beginning of the bell. Adam Kownacki. Damn, I hate that, dude. Those, man, some people think Spanish names are hard, man.
Ski right, dude. You got the ski right.
Okay.
The CKI is ski in Polish.
Ski, okay. Kownacki, okay. Damn, bro, these Eastern European or Russian names, and they say Latin names or Spanish names are hard, but man, dude,
right.
These other names from the other side, bro, they're tough to say too, bro. And but man, it was a hell of a fight. Arreola brought balls, like I said at the beginning of the at the beginning of my call. Who I was rooting for Arreola. It was kind of weird. Is this a new thing for PBC? Because I'm kind of liking it. Where they have the national anthems like right at the introduction of the fight when they're in the ring. So I kind of like it. Yeah,
that was dope. That crowd was singing it. That was good.
Yeah. I love that because it gives it that prize fighter, like this means something kind of event. You know what I mean? It doesn't just mean this is some sort of fight that they just had to put on TV. Because if the casual fan was to see that and they had no idea who these guys were, you'd be like, oh, two fat guys that are fighting in boxing. Oh, this is great. Let's just see what this is about, and not really know the ins and outs. So, but that little that little national anthem at the beginning, I think it gives it a lot of merit. And it gives it that professionalism that I love in boxing. That separates it from a lot of other combat sports out there. You know what I mean? Because if you look at other combat sports, kickboxing, MMA, the UFC, they don't. Look at the UFC. Like I'm sure, Chris, you've seen some events, and they have a lot of talent from all over the world. You know what I mean? That's MMA is pretty much international, and if you've seen their big fights in pay-per-view, they never do anthems. And I think that's what they lack in when it comes to really making an event great. Because it gets the people like rooting for their countrymen and their nationality and all that shit. So it really sparks up in my opinion, because I've always loved the national anthems. You know what I mean? That whole thing. You see a different side of a fighter where he just looks like a white guy, or and you don't know where he's from, but he shows you that he's from Poland, and that's just dope, man. And plus the crowd was dope and everything like that. But what I'm trying to say is that I love the national anthems and them putting that there at the beginning. I like it. It's pretty cool. And because I noticed they had that at the last the Pacquiao Thurman, like they did that too there, like they did at the beginning. Kind of weird for a pay-per-view event, you know what I mean? But
times on pay-per-views, you see that a lot on pay-per-views, the national anthems, but you don't normally see that on a normal card. I like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I did think it was classy. That Polish anthem is long as hell. I'll say that. But it was dope. It was dope.
Yeah,
just, you know, they're
almost
the
as
audience. It's just prideful, you know. You can see the pride.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, man, and you got to give it to those the Poland fans out there, man. The ones because it happened in Barclay, right? Was this in New York, I believe? And
yep.
Yeah, and man, that crowd is just live, man. 9,000, damn, dude.
Yeah, it was the first headliner, and it did like 8-7.
Yeah, man, jeez. Yeah, they came out, man. They taught the Mexicans that night. I saw like one Mexican flag out there, you know, lonely by itself, but you know, it's but it's hostile territory, so I understand, you know what I mean. And Kownacki, you know, definitely, you know, did his work, man. But as far as the fight, man, it was exciting. Definitely both men have hell of a chance, especially Kownacki. Dude, he got hit with flush right hands, like just straight right hands to the chin, and my God, that dude's got it because he's got a good poker face, man. I mean, dude's got a neck on him, man. That you know, and the chin, man. That dude, you know, could he's definitely got some a chin on him. So it's just, you know, it was a good fight. You know what I mean? It definitely went to the decision that the right man wanted. But Arreola's got no he doesn't need to hang his head up or you know, be down about the fight because it was a good fight. It was a good scrap. And but it was funny at the end. If I could, at the end, it was kind of funny where they were interviewing Arreola and they kept pushing. They kept talking about his that he wanted to retire after the fight if he, you know, because there was that rumor that he that if he lost that he was going to retire. But everybody seemed to want him back. It seemed like the PBC and the commentators and the fans. They all wanted to see Arreola back, you know, even though he lost and, you know, and he was talking about, you know, retirement. And, you know, it's kind of nice to see that, you know, because a lot of times they'll be like, oh, it's over, it's done for this guy. But, you know, it's kind of nice to see that, you know, they still want to see Arreola even at this point of his career, you know. It's kind of nice. And but yeah, Ben, as far as Kownacki, you know, I'd like to see him in there with at least you know, a good fighter. You know, I mean, Arreola was a good fighter, but I'm saying like maybe, you know, Gerald Washington. You know, that'd be a good. Oh, actually, didn't he just fight with Gerald Washington a few? Yeah, I think he did. Actually, never mind. Yeah.
2 rounds.
Yeah. Now that I remember, because I remember that. Yeah, some other names. You know, keep fighting other names.
Good,
you know
hard
maybe.
You know?
Yeah.
Like
even at this point,
good. I don't think that'll happen, but Chisora would be a good name for him.
Yeah, that'd be a good. Yeah, that would have been a good scrap even before the before all the drug testing. Dillian White would have been a good test, you know, to see kind of, you know, who would be up next for Deontay Wilder after Ortiz, or you know, or just. I mean, is that a Tyson Fury fight happening? Is that 100%? Because I really don't know what to believe anymore. You know, they say it's on.
Yeah, dude.
They say it's off, and.
Yeah, it's happening, man.
Okay,
yeah.
so after. Okay, so is it? So if Deontay wins, so say Deontay wins, or so what if he loses that fight? Because I mean, that's not a guaranteed win, man. I mean, Ortiz, you know, if you stop the fight, man, Ortiz put up a hell of a fight.
Yeah, you're right. I'm assuming it'd be a trilogy. It'd be a trilogy. Then there's probably a rematch clause built into the contract, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That whole, you know, it's kind of a funny situation, right? Dude? With the whole.
Have you ever heard of this guy, this Otto Wallin from Sweden?
No, hell no. That Tyson Fury fighting?
No. Yeah, never heard of him.
He's got a ski mask, man. He's got a ski mask on, man. You can't. I mean, it's whatever, bro. You know what I mean? He's playing the game right. He's just, you know, milking all these, you know, paychecks and, you know, getting whatever he. You know what I mean? He's yeah, I know it's hard garbage, but it's like it's whatever, bro. You know what I mean? It's just. Fuck it, you know what I mean? If Tyson, if we could kind of get 100%, if you know, obviously Tyson Fury's got an easy fight, you know, come later this year. Obviously he's going to win, and you know he's kind of guaranteed to be at the rematch, right, with Deontay. But Deontay's kind of, you know, he's fighting a real, you know, a real body in there. So it's kind of a, you know, it's hard to say. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to say, but I don't know. In my opinion, Tyson Fury obviously is fighting a nobody, and he just got a ski mask, you know, he's got a ski mask going on, so, you know, whatever, fuck it, you know. But hey, that's why, you know, Deontay, you know, he's the people's champ right now, you know what I mean? You can't hate on that dude. You know, he's doing his shit, so, you know, he's avenging a controversial win, so, or, you know, a somewhat controversial win or whatever. And obviously he got the knockout, but he did struggle in that fight. it back. So definitely, you got to give credit to Deontay. You know what I mean? He's not scared of nobody. It's you know what I mean? So, but it also, man, if I could comment on this whole fiasco thing that's happening between Ruiz and Joshua about the location, man. It's they said what? So Las Vegas, California, New York, that's not happening, or America's not happening, and England's not happening. So I just today I believe AJ said something about Tijuana. That he would beat him in Tijuana. Like, that would be pretty dope if Joshua, had some balls and, fought him in Mexico. That would be pretty sweet. Maybe in, the Aztec Stadium. But I don't see that happening just because it's also high altitude up there, and especially for heavyweights, it's just Joshua's already got a hard time breathing at sea level. So you can only imagine up in those altitudes, and but if Joshua has some balls, that would be pretty sweet.
Vegas would outbid him anyway. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And if I could give my prediction about where the fight is happening, they said neutral grounds, right? I could see this fight happening somewhere in Canada. Like, now that if you really want to think about it, like, they said America's not going to happen, England's not going to happen, obviously, and I just see it. I could kind of see it happening in England or in Canada, somewhere in Canada. So just kind of it seems like a neutral ground. In my opinion, if I could have a prediction, I could see it being there. But also, also if I could comment too about Andy Ruiz. He was on the Joe Rogan Experience recently, and he was talking about how he's taking his training camp to Mexico, for the high altitude up there. So it's like, that's kind of cool. Well, he said secluded, right? I believe he said secluded area, like somewhere out in the nowheres, to kind of, be really focused into this fight. And, I'm that's kind of cool. That's nice to hear that, you know what I mean? And also, people, he's kind of, flexing on social media, showing his new cars and his mansion. And a lot of people think he's unfocused. But he's already said that this fight's going to happen in December. So there's there's still a long time until, I believe training camp could really start. And so that, that's my opinion about that. And but also, and also if I could talk something about the interview with in the Rogan podcast, he gave that little, his origins of his nickname, the Destroyer. And I didn't really know about that nickname at the beginning. I just thought, he was, he's a bad motherfucker,
Yeah, that was
so
funny, dude.
Yeah, that's a real dude. That's how a real motherfucker is right there from like the gutter. Like that. You thought this guy just got his name from fighting because he's a boxer, he's a heavyweight. It's a scary name for him to have, whatever. But it's like it was just from like destroying like little like toys and whatever he could get his hands on as a kid. Like, I believe, that's so funny, man. Like, it's just like just boys will be boy things. You know what I mean? Like, it's just. That's funny, dude. That's just a real dude, man. And because if you look at a lot of these boxers, like if I could say something, Miguel Burchett, he talked about his nickname, the Scorpion, and translated to Spanish, El Alacrán. He talked about how his grandma gave him that name as a kid, and he didn't like it. But it sounds tough as a fighter, right? The Scorpion or Alacrán. But you don't really. Sometimes these kind of names. Their origins are, kind of, awesome to hear about because they're so unexpected to really listen to because, the Destroyer, that's just so funny, man. That's awesome, dude. You can't not love that dude, man. Andrew Ruiz is a real dude, man. That interview was, was awesome. And, you know what I mean? And I don't know, man. Just, you cannot not like Andrew Ruiz. He's a real dude, man. But also, man, and, real quick, I believe there's not a lot of things happening this weekend, but I want to. Chris, did you touch up on it? The son of a legend, man. I believe he's back this weekend, right? Julio Cesar Chavez.
Yeah, I saved
Jr.
it for you. I went with the Vergil Ortiz Jr. fight with Antonio Orozco. But yeah, you're right. Chavez Jr. JCC Jr.'s back.
Back, man. Hey, and he's not televised either, man. What's up with that, bro? Come on. I hate the guy. I hate the guy for whatever. He didn't show up at the Canelo fight, but man, this is a Mexican, a Mexican son right here, man. Son of a legend. So I gotta, you gotta, to me, I always gotta show respect to the Mexicans. He had his time in jail. He got all the hate on the internet. All that bullshit that what happened. He got robbed in his hotel after the fight by those girls playing him and shit. So, he paid his price. Whatever the fuck, So, I don't know, man. Whatever, fuck it, man. Let's see it, bro. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is back against Everett Bravo in San Juan de los Lagos, Mexico. So, shout out to this motherfucker, man, still out there in his name. He's still repping his father's name out there. So, he's still out there getting paydays. And you can't hate that, bro. You know what I mean? So, shout out to Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., man. And, you can hate him or love him. Whatever the fuck, man. Whatever, man. Shout out to him, man. And, but you can't hate on the motherfucker. But, yeah, man. But as far as that, man, not a lot of things going on this weekend. So, hold on. I think there was one thing. Yeah, I'll leave it. This is the last fight. But Broner versus Red Catch, I like the fight. This is a pretty good Styles makes fights kind of get up thing that's happening here. Red Catch is he's a solid fighter. He just upsetted Alexander the Great. So maybe you could. You might have a chance here against Broner. So, let's see it, man, because Red Catch is he's a dog, man, So, just want to say that that's a pretty good scrap. So, but yeah, man, as far as that, don't have too much to say, Chris. I want to thank you for having me on, man. You know what it is. Always repping Mexico, always repping, always repping the Mexicans all the time, man. And Puro Mexico, Puro Huevos in Mexico over here. Shout out to the Rope-A-Dope Radio. Shout out to Christopher Carlson. Always doing it for boxing fans, man. So, it sucks that we will not be able to watch Julio Cesar Chavez, but I'm sure we'll get it on the replay on YouTube or something. Yeah. Viva Rope-A-Dope, Viva Oregon, Viva Mexico.
Thanks as always, man. I appreciate it. You have yourself a good night. Hopefully you finish off strong there on your shift. Yeah, man. Viva Mexico. And I have my hand on my heart with that opening music, just so you know, okay? I literally I'm literally proudly listening to that wonderful music. And like we said, this is the year of the Mexicano, dude. This is the year of the Mexican fighter right now, dude. If they're not winning, they're fucking going hard, dude. I mean, last week, Arreola. I agree, by the way. And I think I said this earlier, too. Like, if he does call it quits, that's cool, man. Do you. No problem. I get it. But if you can stay in this type of shape and even get in better shape, that's the best shape we've probably seen him in like 11 years. So you can do more. You can give us that type of performance when you're in shape. So if he doesn't, call it quits, I'm there to support him 100%. All right, guys, let me just breeze by the waiver wire like it's football and make sure. Ooh, you know what? I got something for you, Portland. 503 Chavez Jr. There's a quote. There's a quote on BoxingScene.com. He says, "My problems are in the past. I want my world title shot." Well, first he's got to make 168. We'll see on that, though. But, yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Let me check one last thing. I heard Coppinger was popping off on Twitter with some stuff. So let me see if there's anything new. By the way, he was just recognized for the big lead, top 40 under 40. So good for him. Good for him. Okay, so based off that meeting that I was telling you about with Reynoso and Alvarez's attorney with, Golden Boy reps, one source describes Canelo as being very much in limbo, and the middleweight champion, regarded as the face of boxing, is perplexed that he's still without a fight or opponent later this year on DAZN. And who does he fight? Who does he fight right now? Andre? Sounds like that's not going to happen. I don't know. I have no clue. But anyway, I'm going to shut this puppy down. Enjoy the fights this weekend. We'll be back next week. Peace.
Once you become the world champion, I believe that you feel you have the upper hand. So now, as you fight, let's say you fight 4 or 5 years of straight survival, the bullshit, the holdback, and when you become the world champion, you're like, you know what, I made it. I'm going to show you it's business. So I'm going to give every dollar worth of